In Monday's editions of the Oklahoman, columnist Berry Tramel termed this psychological warfare. Well, Berry's at the site of the warfare, Oakland, California, where tonight the Oklahoma City Thunder opens the Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors. And joining me to talk about it via remote is Berry Tramel. Berry, you termed it psychological warfare. The Warriors' three-point onslaught versus the Thunder's attack of the bigs and the boards. Is there a wild card in this? Is there a way that it doesn't play to that form?
Oh, I'm sure there are going to be several of those. We don't know what they are. I mean, it could be Harrison Barnes and Serge Ibaka stage some sort of shootout. Could be some sort of Dion Waiters and Sean Livingston duo off the bench. But clearly the compelling storylines are the strengths of the team, which is the Warriors' barrage of three-point shooting against the Thunder's overwhelming size, which resonates on the boards. The good news for the Thunder is that hasn't even brought into mind the presence of two superstars, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. When you have two superstars and you talk about the team's strength really doesn't have anything to do or has little to do with them, that's a good thing. So there's a lot of things to like about the Thunder, but they're playing a team that won 73 games. So you don't get too excited about your chances when you're playing a team that is historically good like this.
They've already vanquished one historically good foe, the San Antonio Spurs, in 6 games. Berry, that was a byproduct of the very rebounding advantage and size, strength you talked about, but also those superstars. Berry, it really felt like something changed in the Spurs series about the will of Kevin Durant and, to some extent, Russell Westbrook to defend. Did you notice that? And how do you think that manifests itself in this series?
Well, I think after Game 1, when the Spurs won in a blowout, I think the Thunder sort of had a sobering revelation that they were going to get embarrassed if they continued to play defense the way they had been playing. And after that, we saw them get with it on defense. Now, doesn't mean that'll work against the Thunder. Against the Warriors. The Warriors are an historically great offensive team. And even if you play good defense, Golden State may score on you. But it seems as if the Thunder had the realization that they've got to defend every single possession. And we saw that to a large degree in the last 5 games. So if they can play with that kind of effort against Golden State and that kind of direction and determination, they will have a chance. Otherwise, they will have no chance.
The difficulty, of course, guarding the Golden State Warriors, and I've heard this talked about by you and others, is how many different players on one possession a Thunder player might have to defend. So many switches, so many moving around, such a likelihood that people like Serge Ibaka and Steven Adams will find themselves guarding Steph Curry. Berry, is that unique among NBA teams, what the Golden State Warriors force you to do on defense?
Well, I mean, it's not unique, I don't think, but it is. They do it. Not many people do it, and they do it very well. And what's unique, or not unique, but rare, is that the Thunder can sort of switch with them. You know, the reason you switch on defense is so that you don't give the other team open outside shots, and you'll give up the one-on-one mismatches of a Serge Ibaka covering Steph Curry or something like that. The key is this. You'd rather the Warriors play one-on-one basketball. That's what the Spurs ended up having to do. They ran isolation for Kawhi Leonard and for LaMarcus Aldridge. And you'd rather them do that, a great passing team. The Warriors are passing demons, but so are the Spurs. And the reason you do that, the reason you switch and invite them to go one-on-one is that takes them out of what they do best. So it can lead to some harrowing situations, but it often is the best thing for your chances to win.
Getting the Warriors to play out of character, work with the Spurs. One of the big characteristics, however, of Golden State Warriors, Oklahoma City Thunder games is the excellence in production of Kevin Durant, the all-time who scores more against the Golden State Warriors than anybody else in NBA history. Berry, it seems odd that we go so long and so many conversations about this before we get around to Kevin Durant and his scoring. Why is he so effective against the Warriors, and what do you think he's going to continue that in this series?
Well, what's interesting is that the Warriors have a guy that can match up with Durant fairly decently. As far as, most teams don't have anybody that can even pray of stopping Durant. The Warriors have a guy that's in Andre Iguodala, who's fairly tall. I think he's about 6'8", long-armed, great defender. So Andre Iguodala, you would think, would be one of the few guys in the league that could sort of match up. However, Durant has been spectacular against this team over not just this year, but over the several years. So, I think there's reason to think Durant, again, will play very well and will have success. But the Warriors have some great team defense. I think it's most likely that Durant does have a big series. Russell Westbrook could too, although the key for Golden State is keep Steph Curry off of Westbrook. When Andre Robertson's in the game, Steph Curry can guard Robertson, but if Robertson's out of the game, Curry has to match up against somebody that he really doesn't want to cover.
Barry, finally the coaching matchup. We're coming off a series in which it looked like a mismatch. Rookie Billy Donovan against Greg Popovich, everybody's pick for the best coach in the NBA. This time it's Donovan, first-year coach, against Steve Kerr, second-year coach. What do you think of the job Donovan's done so far, and how do you think he'll match wits with Steve Kerr?
Oh, I think Donovan's done fine. He's done excellent. He stayed even with Popovich. I think he'll do fine with Kerr. Nobody talks about experience and all that. Kerr's got a half a season edge on Billy Donovan, which isn't much at all. So, I think Donovan's going to do fine. The truth of the matter is you go into a series and you don't know what's going to work. You just have to try things. And Donovan tried things against San Antonio, and they ended up working. Some worked, some didn't. He kept tinkering. He found some magic buttons. So I think Donovan's going to do fine.
Thanks, Barry. That's all for this edition of our pregame for Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, Golden State Warriors versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. But you can stay with the best coverage team every day at News OK and every morning in the Oklahoman.